I want to remind you that Hammond Communications posts a recording of these news conferences in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Tony, give us an overview, please.
We didn't play very well tonight. LSU did. Both teams made mistakes, but they capitalized. So ultimately, that's on my shoulders, whether it's in the middle of the game or pregame for our guys to play better. But this thing's already over with, and in my mind, in the past, the game I'll choose to remember this team by was yesterday. It was the last great moment we had together, and it was also a game that was very representative of how the season went. Started out slow, a lot of struggles in there, a lot of frustration, but guys overcoming that and working together, coming together to make sure we have success, and that's what occurred. So that's what I'll remember it by. And as far as the whole team goes, much was made about preseason rankings with this particular group. I think guys like Drew and others helped kind of get our program to a new category. And no disrespect to any writers or anything like that. We certainly had a lot of talent, but I didn't think we deserved to be where we were at the beginning of the season, and I let them know that. Just a lot of new faces, a lot of things that we had to replace, and we did that by the end of the year, in my opinion. I know we won't be one of the last two teams standing because number 2 was our highest preseason ranking, but we kind of challenged these guys to actually become that. And, maybe we are, at least top 5 or somewhere in that category. Again, no disrespect to anybody else. So that's what I remember this team for. And our program needs to get better, but this was a group that helped our program improve, no question, and did some things that others have never done.
Okay, we'll open up for questions for the student athletes now. Again, raise your hand. Give us your name and affiliation and to whom you're asking the question. We'll start here with you.
Ryan Shumpert, Rocky Top Insider. Drew, just what will you remember the most about this season and this team?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I'll remember the most is probably the tough times we had and just the hills we had to climb. I mean, this season starts not just in February. It starts back in August when we got on campus in the fall. I mean, it's a grind. You go through so much with your teammates and your coaches, and you figure things out, then things don't work, and you figure out something else. And I think just all those trials and tribulations that were thrown at us and that we had to fight through as the season went on, that's just the things you remember because you just push through it with your brothers, the guys beside you, the coaches beside you, and that's just the memorable parts. Is the winning's great, but making a bond and making like a family with the guys beside you is the part that you come out on top with.
Okay, we'll go up here.
Jack Foster, Rocky Top Insider. Drew, just sophomore year, how do you think you improved in year 2?
Yeah, I mean, we attacked the off season. Obviously, you want to be better every year. Just try to be more precise. Try to take care of my body a little more than I did last year. Really tried to step into being more of a leader on the team. Showing the right ways for guys like AJ coming in, a freshman. He's stepped up in a big role, and it's just been fun seeing guys like that. But I feel like just filling in my role as a guy on this team that can influence others, and I think that's just the biggest thing I've taken away this year.
Okay, next question for you have somebody. Okay, back to Brian.
AJ, just how were you able to handle the emotions and kind of your first big leverage postseason moment, and what did you have working for you?
Yeah, I thought everything was working pretty well. It was a short warm-up, but just going out there, just trying to breathe and bring myself down in normal heart rate and stuff like that. Just really focused on breathing, and me and Cal, and it kind of all just kind of worked out.
Okay, go right here.
Wes Rooker with 24/7 Sports. Drew, y'all have had so many times this year where you came back late, you're able to kind of keep fighting, make it happen. What did that help the mood at all throughout the game when things didn't start the way you wanted, and why did it not maybe happen this time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good ball club over there. They've got good team, but yeah, I mean, it was never out of reach. It just it didn't happen today. It's baseball. just the way the tree falls sometimes. And so I don't think anybody ever had any doubt. I mean, I think we were just going out there playing the game we all love, and it just didn't happen for us today.
Okay, any more questions for the student athletes? Guys, you had a great season. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Now we'll open it up for questions to Tony. Again, raise your hand and we'll get to you, and we'll start with Kendall.
Do win baseball, Tony. Just from the dugout perspective, what were you seeing from Ackenhausen that he was just unable to let you guys kind of get in a groove offensively?
His stuff has always been difficult to hit. Usually, where it's kind of, at least, and he's not on my team, so I'm going off a little bit of video, a little bit of research. Where it's kind of gone awry for him is with command, and he had excellent command at the start of the game. And then as the game waned on a little bit, there were some mistakes he made out of the zone, whether it be hit by pitch or something like that. But then he kind of, kept his composure and regathered and did well. And then it takes two to tango. We like I said, we didn't capitalize on mistakes as well as they did. We kind of had it down. He got in on lefties and then got righties to kind of overswing a little bit. So it kind of depends on which side of the deal you're talking there. And, you could look at game plan, or you could just look at a guy who had a good opportunity and really took advantage of it. Wasn't going to be an easy day to score runs, and nothing to show for it. And for our team, a lot of times when it was tough out of the gate, we just needed one thing to happen, and then it kind of came, not necessarily like an avalanche. And who knows, maybe we get that one little moment. Things are different, but we did not.
Okay, go up here to Ryan.
Do you feel like you guys pressed offensively at all as the game went on?
I don't think so. I think there was more frustration at times than we've had as of late. Maybe a word I can't say up here or two like that. But that was just because guys were trying, and it was a tight game. So each pitch you could feel a little bit. But, I mean, it's certainly in pregame and at the start of the game, there wasn't moments of tension. When I referenced mistakes, it was that they really made us pay on walks and then, defensive mistakes. And even when we don't feel that bunt, I mean, everything was all good. And, we make a mistake later and you knew the guy was going to come up to the plate. I was just dying somebody would be on base for him because you knew he was going to respond. That's just what he does.
Okay, we'll go here to Jack.
Yeah, Tony, I know you mentioned yesterday's game is the game you'll choose to remember this team by, but what do you want this team to be remembered for on the grand scheme?
Kind of what you fantasize being if you claim to be a competitor or if you compete at all, is that you'll get after it no matter what. And when you get knocked down, you'll get back up. And when you get knocked down again, you'll get up even quicker and so on and so forth. So, I think it was a competitive group. They can hang their hat on the fact that, we talked about perspective. There's a variety of tradition within each program, and it takes a lot in our league to be able to brag about tradition. But for us in particular, we wanted to get to a regional, and then we wanted to have a roster that was really athletic that you guys would be excited to write about. And, COVID's whatever. And then we wanted to get here, and we didn't win any games. And then we wanted to get here again and win a game, and this group did it. And, I skipped a year, but boys that were part of 22, give it a couple years, and you'll get yours. No national championship, but pretty special group that will be remembered by everybody in this room for a lot of stuff. Love them or hate them. I love them.
Okay, here at the end.
Tony, you said earlier the program needs to get better. I'm just curious where you see that being needed, and also, as you said, getting here, winning a game. Do you feel like you've advanced the trajectory of the program this season?
I think so. I mean, you need to get here and you need to feel it out. It doesn't mean like Coastal Carolina can't come here and win a national championship. But you got to get used to the itinerary, the media attention, the stage, and things will be passed down by guys. I mean, our guy, we had some tough dudes on that 21 team, and they kind of locked up a little bit that first game. We also faced a guy named Abbott. I wasn't too happy when I saw that video when we found out who we were going to face. But you got to learn how to deal with rankings and expectations and then people start looking forward to playing you as opposed to, maybe sleeping on you a little bit, or, there's a variety of circumstances. And we want our stadium to get bigger. We want our crowds to keep getting bigger and rowdier. We want our roster to be as competitive as anybody's. Of course, that's going to kind of come and go a little bit, but just to be able to handle things that come with shooting for a national championship every year.
Okay, back up here to Ryan.
Just wanted to get your vantage point on two plays. The first being Maui's double and holding Cal up at third, and then the following half inning on the bunt single that Zane threw in the right field.
Yeah, I mean, Coach E had a difficult challenge yesterday because there's one play where you got to just send the guy and make them play catch, and the wind keeps pulling the ball in and they do it. And then he's got to send the other guy, and Zane kind of got his, gosh, love him, he kind of got his feet tangled up a little bit and made it closer than maybe it should have. And then you get another difficult decision there. And normally with 2 outs and a double, you got to, but it wasn't there. And if you look up at the Jumbotron to double check, it just wasn't there. And we got a really good hitter coming up next that had a heck of a night the first time we played these guys, and just a little bit of difficulty tonight. So what was your second question?
On the bunt, Zane threw in the right field, did you like him to eat that?
Yeah, it looked like he was going foul, but I'm also standing in the dugout spitting seeds into the ground. He's out there playing in front of 25,000 or whatever we got in there, and he's trying to make a play. And who knows, it may not have rolled foul. But then again, to try and make a play. I mean, put it in your back pocket is easy to say if you're watching from home. But these kids are running around out there pouring their hearts out onto the field. That's why it's been so damn entertaining so far, if I can say that word.
Jack, this will be our last question for Tony.
On that note, Coach, your teams in the last 3 to 4 years have played with such emotion and passion. I think it's contagious around the sport of college baseball. These games have been so entertaining this week. Can you kind of talk about the state of college baseball and maybe where your program has kind of played a role in a lot of the emotion and passion we see this week?
I appreciate you saying that more than you know. That means a lot. I think last year's team, kind of what I was going on a tangent about or ready to go on a tangent, was they got people talking about the sport. I mean, big leaguers, all kinds of people. And again, part of it was they didn't like me or our players or anything like that, or we did some foolish things or we did some great things, but it got people talking. And we're not the only ones. I think these indoor facilities these kids train at, they're putting in more work. Media, whether it be social media or now all these games are covered. All those things are elevating the play and the amount of passion these kids pour into this thing. And I think our sport, I'm prejudiced, but I think our sport more than any other collegiate sport has more momentum and is on a greater incline than any other. And this thing here has become an absolute party in Omaha. They do a good job of hosting it, but the trajectory is not going to slow down. And this thing had a lot of star power, maybe more star power than any other one at this. You guys would know better than I. So why can't next year have even more star power? Having said that, hopefully Florida's not here. That big old first baseman, though, is probably be a good guy to have around here. We got a couple, too, though.
Tony, thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.